Hello, everybody,
Hello.
and welcome to Nexus at Night, the weekly-ish stream about Vanguard that occasionally features three people.
True.
So it's just going to be me and Matt today because Atlas is busy, like, having a life or something. God.
What the fuck?
I know, right?
Why?
Can you believe him? He's going to go see Wicked, the play, not the movie, with...
Oh, that's kind of
His,
dope, actually. Hold on,
yeah.
I'll allow that.
But how dare he prioritize his wife? I assume he went with Katie over hanging out with us.
Right?
So how are you doing this week?
I'm all right.
Anything eventful happened to you?
Not at all.
Yeah. See, my week was like mostly uneventful because it was like, all right, New Year's holiday. So work was pretty slow. Not everybody is like, oh, hey, it's Rice. Hello.
Hello.
But yeah, like work was like slow-ish because it was like New Year's. Although there were actually a decent number of people who came into the office on the 31st. We had like 3 or 4 walk-ins, and I was like, oh my god, can you guys please?
That's wild.
I know. Like, a couple of them were normal. So I think one person was just dealing with like tax returns, and they were seeing like the collector on their case. But that one was a little bit of a pain because it was like dealing with refund situations or something. I don't know. I'm not a collector. And then the more annoying one was like vehicle use tax clearance. So like they were transferring like a vehicle from a business to themselves or something like that. And like you can get a tax clearance so you don't have to like pay taxes on it if you have like the right documentation and it gets approved. But like that's the kind of thing that's a pain in the ass, and this person's like, no, I need it today because I'm going to be taking this vehicle out to like use it by like Thursday. And it's like, oh my god.
Oh god.
Please. So, it was like weirdly busy for being like December 31st.
Right.
Yeah. Which was fun. I didn't even get pizza this time. Last week I got pizza for being there on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
People like pizza, probably.
Yeah. It's the pizza party we get instead of a bonus. Although, government employees, do we even get... I think we do get holiday pay. No, I'm not... So I won't bitch about it. But yeah, I got pizza on Christmas Eve, not on New Year's Eve, whatever. It was like weirdly busy. And then, today I had to deal with sudden car problems.
Ugh.
I swear this car is cursed. I've had like so many things happen over the years. Yeah. Also, like the fucking cover over the earmuff is like coming off on this side. That's annoying. I'll like glue it back one of these days. But yeah, like, my parents or my dad's car is like low on gas, so they were just gonna take mine out to do whatever they were doing today. And then, when they got in the car, they noticed like the passenger sides was just like flooded because it's been like raining all week. Or it's been like raining on and off the last couple of weeks, and it's like, what the fuck? How did that happen? So my parents took it to the dealership because I was working. But, based on the inspection they did at the Honda dealer, it's like, apparently the sunroof has like failed, like the seal around it. So water is leaking in, and like whatever like drain was supposed to like drain all the water out is also clogged.
Ugh.
So like it's just like a complete pain right now. And like the initial quote they've given me was like $1,100 to fix the sunroof and like $490 to fix the carpet. So plus taxes like $1,600 for everything, which I'm not paying that shit. We're gonna go to a different mechanic to fix the sunroof, and we'll figure out the carpet later. Like, my mom said it was, like, moldy when they went in, which might have just been an exaggeration. I don't know. But if there was actual mold there, then I would probably pay to replace the carpet. I'm not paying the $490 that they're going to ask for. But, like, You know, I will pay somebody an amount to replace the carpet if I have to, if it actually did go moldy. But yeah, so that was my like sudden Friday, which is also why it's probably going to be a shorter stream, partially because I like don't have a lot to talk about outside of just the usual Vanguard stuff, and partially because I cannot be bothered with it, especially because like dealing with car stuff this weekend is probably just going to eat up a bunch of my time. So yeah. Also,
fun.
Yeah. Also, you were playing Balatro in the background.
I am playing Balatro. Yeah.
Nice. How's it going?
It's going pretty good.
I still
we have yet to get past the bad part yet, though. So we'll see.
Yeah. You know, I should have picked up Balatro during the Steam sale.
Balatro is peak.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, is like the Steam sale was on over the like holiday weekend, and it was like, man, I like look through everything that I would like, or look through the genres I would theoretically want to play, and I started thinking about it more. I'm like, man, I have so much shit in my backlog that I like never started or finished. Like, maybe I should just focus on like finishing the backlog. The problem is my backlog is like 90% RPGs, so that's not like a thing I can do on stream.
Oh yeah, it's gonna take like a billion years also.
Yeah. And like, yeah, I guess one of the things I want to do for 2025 is like try to get more into content production. So like, you know, eventually working up the energy to like stream more often and stream like a variety of things.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, make more videos for the channel, which I was going to do this week because there was actually a decent number of stuff to talk about, and then I got lazy.
Real.
So, yeah, 2025 is going great already. But on the subject of Vanguard things to talk about, there actually is a decent amount of stuff. We're now in the Vanguard section of this stream. Everybody scatter. So yeah, we actually had a lot of news coming out on Tuesday specifically, although I guess some of it was technically Monday. So the first thing is that we're getting the Korokoro set in English, so that's coming out on May 30th. So this one, aside from having all of the like crossover stuff with Korokoro, also just contains like a bunch of reprints. I can't visit the site right now because I'm like streaming Discord. God damn it. I don't want to switch screens, but yeah, so this is going to have like all of the new like Korokoro stuff, and then like included in that set is also a bunch of things to like or a bunch of staples that are being reprinted with just like the Korokoro arts. So let's see if I can. I know the problem now. I didn't put this on the second monitor. Let's share a different screen. I think I shared this the wrong way, where I shared that one tab instead of the whole window. No, just, yeah, share Chrome. Okay, there we go. So, let me go see. I think it's this. No. So we do have, like, the Dangerous Grandpa. We have, I don't even know what the hell the Dark States one is. Dark States is, like, the nation I pay the least attention to. I have no idea what this does, but where is it at? Because I know it's because I know they're all triple R's. Just failed. No, that's the Grandpa one. Oh no, this is the Cycler. Okay, so yeah. So one of the two things that's being reprinted in the set. The first one are like the the Order Cycler. So like Latifa, Taithfault, all of those cards. So when you play the normal order, you can Soul Blast one, look at top 5. So those are being reprinted in the set. Alongside that, with its own like special rarity, is a bunch of other generic staples. So I believe it's going to be like the Soul Cyclers and then like some staple grade 1. So yes, these I think were like Buddy Fight promos actually, or Buddy Fight arts, which good for all the Buddy Fight players.
How do Buddy Fight players feel about this?
I don't know. I remember they were happy to just like have anything, you know, because their game is still dead. Although there's like a non-zero chance Bushiroad brings it back from the dead one of these days. Who knows? But yeah, so this set is reprinting the Soul Cyclers, and then it is also printing like a staple grade 1. So Dragon Empire is getting Shenri. I believe Dark States is getting Brainwash Swirler, which is probably not the best pick anymore. But the Shenri for Dark States got printed after this set, so you just kind of have to be stuck with a less optimal reprint. What's Stoicheia getting? I think Stoicheia got Phylander. Yeah, so Stoicheia is getting Phylander. That's a good reprint. Keter Sanctuary is getting Sergauon. And then Lyrical Monasterio got what's it called? Oh, Brandgate got Bulbul Mine. And then Lyrical Monasterio is getting Yuika.
Huh.
So yeah. It is going to be a bit late because this is coming all the way out in like May, but it is a much needed reprint set. It's not perfect because this is going to be one of the small boosters that only has 3 per pack, I think. Let me see. Yeah, each pack is only 3 cards and each display is only 10 packs. So, not the best thing in the world ratio-wise, but it is better than nothing and contains a bunch of much needed reprints for this set, so I'm not going to complain about it. I do think this is overall a good thing to have. Also, the like stupid, dumb Koro stuff is pretty funny, even if none of it is good. Like you can shout at your card to say stand up Vanguard to like restand it and it gets like drive -1. So, like that stuff is funny. And I don't mind that. Alright, back to Discord. There has to be a more elegant way to do this. Alright, back to Discord. So another thing we're getting is, the Skyride manga that was being printed in Koro is getting more start decks. So Japan didn't actually get like the Stardust Blade TD that we got here in English, so that was just like a promo deck that they gave out with, I think, copies of the manga. I'm not entirely sure how that was distributed, but yeah. So now Japan is getting like a proper like start deck version of it, which is what we had in English, but they didn't have it in Japan. So it is apparently going to contain like more new cards for Vergila. And then we're also getting something for like a Stoicheia deck that was featured in the manga. I have not been reading Skyride, so I couldn't like tell you about it, but this is neat, and hopefully because we did get the Stardust Blade set, that we will also get this in English. Or yeah, in English somehow.
You would think.
I mean, considering that they released the like quick start deck that came with the like Koro that was like a promo deck, like I'm actually moderately confident that we'll be getting these.
I see.
And these are going to be including like real OT, so you're getting like Drag Veda and Bless Favor instead of just like the generic Cray Elemental one that's like 10 million to 2 units. And also, I guess they're also reprinting a Regalis piece, and they're printing a different one in each deck.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well,
and then apparently
that's good.
Yeah. So yeah, all of that is like really cool. It's good that they're just making more starter products and good starter products, not like the stupid start decks that came with the start of DZ, but yeah, that's pretty neat. And then the other big thing to discuss is the Tuesday stream, where we got a really big new reveal for more generic cards. So we have oh god, what? How do you even Coscoza?
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good to me.
God, this is just consonants. There's like 3 vowels here. Anyways. So, when it's placed on rearguard circle from hand, other than by a unit's ability, or if you discard from hand while riding from the ride deck, choose a card with Persona Ride. Choose a card with Persona Ride from your ride deck, and you may ride it. If you reveal a card, or you have a Vanguard with Persona Ride, so get fucked ride decks, you can Soul Blast one and put a personal shield ticket into your hand. And if it attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, it gets plus 5k, insert Hikari mean here. So what is a personal shield ticket? So it is a ticket card, you can't put it in the deck, and it is a blitz order that when your unit is being attacked, it can get plus 10k until the end of that battle, and you can play 2 blitz orders until the end of your turn. And if your opponent is playing a crest deck that's not the energy generator, it gets an additional power plus 5,000. And then if you would discard a card while riding from the ride deck, or to choose a card from your hand by a card's ability, you can't choose the personal shield ticket.
Okay, so it's a card you can't pay for cards with, but it's like an extra 10 or 15k shield.
Yeah, that you can get for very cheap by just playing Soul Blast 1. So this is a very interesting card, right? Like, it does do something which is what we've been asking for a really long time, which is defensive power. You know, defensive power has been a huge problem for D-Series, especially right now with how quickly decks can ramp up. And so this is a very good alternative to the existing cyclers, where instead of blind drawing a card, you kind of get the guaranteed plus of just like an extra 10k, sometimes 15k shield. And the fact that it allows you to play 2 blitz orders that turn means that like you can use it alongside things like Sanctitude. I think the sequence of events, if you're playing Lascaria specifically, is that you would use this first. That lets you play 2 blitz orders, and then like the Lascaria blitz order lets you play an additional blitz order. So it works if you do it that way, but if you do it the other way around, where you play the Lascaria order first and then you play this, you will only be able to play 2. But yeah, this is very neat. And we have one for every nation. These are the Pride Cyclers. So, and the quick Q&A for how this works. So, is the personal shield put into the drop zone? Yes, it will move to the drop zone and then gets immediately erased. After playing a personal shield, you play a second personal shield in the same turn. Can you play a third one? No, you cannot, because it just changes the limit to 2 instead of saying you can play an additional one. Can it be used to pay costs, like putting a card from hand to soul or buying 2 cards from your hand? No, it cannot. So yeah, basically already answered by the text, but just in case, to be extra sure, like, it specifies specifically playing 2 orders, so you can't use it to like cheese playing 3 orders if you use multiple personal shields. Also means if you somehow get 3 personal shields, you can't use all of them at the same time. You can't pay any cost for it. But yeah, this is very interesting. I don't think it's going to see play in every single deck, just because like it does require a Soul Blast. And also, like, you can use it while discarding it from hand, but the shield effect also works like calling it to the board, but not every deck can afford to. Like, a lot of decks are randomly xenophobic, where they want a particular trait or an archetype name. So I think like those kinds of decks probably will not be playing this, but I can also see a lot of decks where like maybe you don't necessarily want or need to be blind drawing cards, so just trading a Soul Blast for an extra 10k shield in hand is more worthwhile than a blind draw, which could be anything. It could even be something that just bricks your hand for no reason.
Hell yeah.
I love playing Liel Amorta and just drawing duplicates of my bind target. The other thing that's like maybe concerning for this is like, because you can just kind of call it to the board as a unit and it'll still get you the personal shield, it means like early gaming with these is a lot less risky. So any deck that can afford to play it can just kind of throw it out there as a thing to occupy space on the board and force your opponent to respond to it. And then your reward for that is you just have 15k shield because you have the 10k from the personal shield, and then you can intercept with this. Because like, as a body, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So, like, that is a minor concern. Especially, I think there are probably going to be some amount of slop decks like Liel Amorta, for example, that can and does just play like 8 cyclers. I think Maelstrom lists do it too. There are versions of Lichiafail that play 8 cyclers, so you would just replace the like Soul Cycler from set 10 with copies of this. So you have the energy cyclers for extra shield and the ability to like draw cards on guard, and then this as like a disposable body that you can just throw out and get an extra 10k shield.
Yeah. That's a lot of shield for a random card, and you get it if you discard it.
Yeah, discard for ride deck.
Oh, I see. So, but that's still pretty good.
Yeah,
but I don't know how many of these you'd play. Right, like it's like.
I mean, I think like if you're just straight up replacing a cycler with it, probably 4. Right. Because like it's still a 15k attacker too, eventually, which is still okay. Like these just seem to have a lot of value, and as like a low investment unit that you can just kind of throw out there, especially alongside the draw cyclers, where it's like, okay, you discard the draw cycler, Energy Blast 3, draw, then call this Soul Blast 1, get a personal shield ticket. You know, that's a lot of advantage early, and you're also getting like offensive pressure out. Probably the 2 nations I'm most concerned about right now are like Dragon Empire, because you have very free soul charging in the form of Ford and Shenri, and then like Lyrical, because you can just keep bouncing this back to the hand and calling it again, and like getting just a bunch of shield tickets.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess like they definitely don't want you like getting just like 4 of these and just like sitting on them for 1 turn.
Yeah.
Which reasonable.
But yeah. I guess the other thing Lyrical can do is like call to the board, get the shield ticket, bounce it, next turn, discard it, get the shield ticket.
That'd be so funny.
Yeah. Oh, and it's like the 10th anniversary of the like weekly streams. That's nice.
Dope.
And we're also getting the English conference for 2025, January 23rd. We are probably going to get a copy-paste ban list for Shoujo Doji because Bushiroad English loves to, which isn't a real thing, they love to update the English format like 2 months late for any of their changes to matter. And then next week we're getting new Levy Dross reveals. Yay.
Dope. I'm so excited.
So yeah. That was all of the new cards. The other thing I wanted to talk about was just like Levy Dross Discord. Discourse.
What's up with Levy Dross? I don't know shit. What's up?
Yeah. Let me go grab the like screenshot. I don't think I have to like change it too much, but you know, the top 16 breakdown. Where's the specific pie chart I was looking for where it's like the top, I think it was this one where the top 8 was like 7 Levy Dross and 1 Reziel. But you know, that's a lot of Levy Dross in the pie chart, so people have kind of been complaining about it. Let me see if I just search Levy Dross in the search bar what comes up, but there has just been a lot of discourse about it because people have been complaining about it. Like I showed with the pie chart earlier, it is a very strong deck. You know, the first major tournament it appeared in, it took up a significant number of like top slots. Let's just go to Fuzzy's website. Was it Singapore? There was like something where like the top 8 was just like all Levy Dross. I can't find it, but yeah, like as you can see, it is representing like a significant number of top results, and it means a lot of people are complaining about it. So I figured might as well just talk about my opinions on Levy Dross in the format. Also, I will say Outer Orange was absolutely not on Twitter. I think she literally wasn't because she was on break, but everyone was complaining about Shiranui when it was topping. You know. So that is the only thing I will push back about her on. Like, people are wanting it to be banned really quickly because, like, these immediate results are also coinciding with the English conference, which absolutely not happening. We are almost certainly just getting a copy-paste ban list where we hit Shoujo Doji 2 months late.
Hell yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be... This happens a lot in card games that are, like, delayed from Japan, where you get like these copy paste ban lists, or I guess in some cases, like if you look at like how Duel Masters released in the United States, they just didn't do that, and that was like a huge problem, and it kind of killed the game. But like, it's like we know what's coming, like we already know. It's just very bizarre, but like I don't know.
Yeah,
it feels like they just want to pretend that we don't have the information. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's the rest of the pictures I was looking for. 7
Hell
Levy
yeah.
Dross, 1 Reziel, top 4 all Levy Dross. But yeah, so Levy Dross is kind of like an annoying deck. I personally don't really like Imperio. Like, I made a short about it, but I don't like Imperio as like a concept. Like, I don't really like playing a deck where I am forced to play like the older version of the card. Let me see. Fine, I will put in Levy Dross instead. Imperio. But yeah, I don't really like that I have to play like the old Levy Dross as this weird like sort of brick where the only purpose of playing the Levy Dross is putting it into Soul to generate the Infinity Eyes marker. So it means that like 4 slots in my deck are being taken up by a card that does nothing except be put into Soul. It doesn't have shield value, which can sometimes hurt defensively. And it also means that like when you don't find the Levy Dross to put into Soul, the deck like sort of bricks because a lot of your cards like Onfall and like Charmnet, the new card that just came out. But yeah, like Onfall says you need to have 3 Infinity Eyes markers for it to be able to attack from the back row, and then like Charmnet, Double R that came out this set for Levy Dross as well needs like 3 Infinity Eyes markers for you to call it back from the drop zone. So when you don't see the Levy Dross to put from hand to soul and you can only make 2 markers, suddenly you can't call this from the drop zone. You can't use Onfall to attack from the back row. And the deck goes from being like this insane top tier meta threat to, you know, manageable. And that's really frustrating because it's just like, you know what the deck could do, and like when you miss it, it's just like it feels like the deck isn't working. And
but also like when you hit, you're like an entire turn ahead of your opponent, right?
Yeah. And you know, we played it on stream last week. You saw what happened when I just
it was insane. It was like there's like, what was he supposed to do? You were attacking so much for huge numbers.
And I got to stack heal with Onfall too. That was fun.
That was disgusting.
And that's the thing, is like the original Levy Dross could only make 2 markers in 1 turn without the Divine Skill, and your opponent has to be grade 3 for Divine Skill. So it's like, when you miss with Imperio, you're basically just playing the original. It is a worse version of the original going second, but going first it is basically just the original. But I guess the thing is, like, knowing what the ceiling is on the deck makes it feel more frustrating. And yeah, like I said, when it hits, it's just like absolutely insane. So, you know, I don't really like Imperio personally. If I had my way, I feel like I would make it so that it was banned from the ride deck, so you have to play the original. Chengu pointed out on Twitter when I voiced this thought that like some people are gonna try and just like ride it anyways from their hand instead of just riding the original from ride deck, but I think that's fine. Like, if they manage to get the Exodia hand anyway with that, like, sure, that's super annoying, but whatever. But at least in that way, like, they have to draw the Imperio, then they have to draw a second Levy Dross to put into Soul, and then they still need all of the combo pieces like Charmnet, Onfall, the Squirrel to like do things. And then I guess the other point of contention is the Squirrel. I believe it's just here. So Squirrel is a card that I feel like if I remember correctly, I underrated when we were doing the set review, but like at the end of the battle it boosts you Soul Blast 1, move it to an open back row, and then if you move it to a rearguard circle with Infinity Eyes markers, it restands and get plus 5k. So I think I underestimated this when the set first came out, but people quickly figured out that like, okay, obviously, like, Charmnet can retire another rear guard, so probably Onfall because it only works on place. You know, that becomes at least 23, 33 if it's on an Infinity Eyes marker. You know, boosted by Squirrel, that becomes like 31, 41. But also, you know, Levy Dross has Foxil, which gives something 10k. And back row attack. So you like So you would use Foxhill, give the squirrel 10k in back row attack. Now it's an 18k booster, and then you move it over onto an Infinity Eyes. It restands plus 5k, and then you can attack with it for 33k. So that is a lot. So the other thing people kind of want is probably some sort of hit to squirrel, because that's the thing that really like sends your turn 3 over the top. Where it's like, oh, you get to boost with it for a massive, huge number, and then it also becomes a big, huge attacker.
Yeah, this card was doing a lot of work last week in the game I saw.
Yeah. So yeah, that was just kind of the Levy Dross drama. Is like a lot of people complaining about it. You know, people responding that the deck isn't completely broken, and it's not. It does have weaknesses. The early game isn't great. A lot of your cards are on play and or require Infinity Eyes markers, so you can't just throw them out turn 2, which means the first 2 turns you're probably just ride, attack, pass. So, like, you can try to outpace it by rushing them early, although, again, because the turn 3 is so powerful, they can stabilize very easily. Or, like, the deck also doesn't deal great with board control. Like, you have some revival options, but not enough that if your opponent can consistently wipe your board, that you can... And also, if they can remove your cards in a way that they don't go to the drop zone, like binding or spinning it back to the deck, then Levy Dross also doesn't do very good at replacing the board from that. So the deck's not completely invincible, but I do think Imperio is a very frustrating card. And personally, I would like to just play Levy Dross as God Bushiroad intended, where you put the original in the ride deck and just rewrite into Imperio. Like, I actually liked Levy Dross in set 4. It wasn't the best deck in the world. It had all of the weaknesses I described earlier of, like, you know, middling hand sizes that kind of requires your Infinity Eyes to, like, supplement it. The deck, as it currently stands, plays a lot of grade 3, so you're susceptible to some fake hands, too. But, like, I thought that was an interesting challenge trying to deck build around it. I think current versions of Levy Dross just kind of go into your bullshit turbo where you either get the high roll and do everything, or you don't, and it's just kind of a normal deck. And, you know, if that's the case, I'd rather just play like a normal deck. You know, it's just a bit fun to try and work around the weaknesses that it had in set 4. I was experimenting with things like Frozen Resentments and like Phylander, and, you know, I can still do that with Imperio existing. Like, if I was going to build Levy Dross for myself personally, now that I've gotten a chance to show off what the, like, competitive version of the deck does, I would probably just make one focused around the original Levy Dross and just playing the worst version of the deck I find more fun.
So, I think part of what makes the response to this so strong is that it does have games where it's just like a reasonable deck.
Yeah.
And then, like, randomly, this deck just high rolls and the game is immediately over.
Yep.
And it probably, and that in my experience, decks like that are more frustrating than the deck just being ridiculous.
Yes.
Because if the deck's just ridiculous, you're like, cool, eventually this thing's going to get slapped and we can move on with our lives. But when it's like this fucking, oh, it's a really high roll, it feels so bad.
Yeah.
And this one I wouldn't even say is like a really high roll. It's like a kind of high roll. But it's still like, oh, you hit it? Okay, well, game's over. Oh, you didn't hit it? Oh, I can play.
Yeah.
Which is that for sure makes it way more frustrating.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, some of this complaining is just your standard, like, top deck bad. And a lot of people also complained about Shiranui at the time it was meta, but I also think Shiranui was a very frustrating deck to play because once it got striding, it could make like something like 7 attacks, and it could also like draw a shitload of cards with, especially once it got like Ford and Shenri. So I do think people tend to get more reactive to decks that feel unreasonable.
Yeah. And I think that's what Chengyu was Mei Chengyu was getting at, basically saying, like, even if it were like a 2-card combo, it still has like the same annoyance.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, you had it, okay, the game's over.
And
I think like it doesn't solve that problem for them.
Yeah.
Which that checks out for me.
So yeah. Levy Dross is a deck that I personally don't really like. Hindsight 50, hindsight is 2020, 50-50. What the hell am I talking about? I wish like the Destined King or the 2 King cards were designed the same way as Rakshasa. Like Rakshasa is explicitly designed that it can only work if you ride on top of the original Varga. And I don't know why they didn't give the other 2 like the same clause. Like those 2, you can just high roll with them if you really feel like it. People don't do it with Vita currently because just the timing on it means that like if you start on Vita, you just will not have access to the Divine Skill turn 3. And sometimes you need to do that. So people typically play like ride deck original Reziel, re-ride into Vita later. So it's a shame that like Levy Dross couldn't have been designed in a way to enforce that. I probably easiest to just like give them the same like conditions as like evil Varga, but too late for that, and I would not want a nerf errata to be printed. That just doesn't seem like a good time, even though Bushiroad does have the trade-in program at BCSs. Not everyone can get to that. So yeah, I think that was everything I really wanted to talk about. I didn't plan on streaming super long today because, car issues and stuff. And also Atlas isn't here, so I didn't really come up with any good plans. Maybe I should download Balatro so we can just jam games of Balatro one of these days on stream. I do want to start streaming games more.
Balatro is peak, I will say.
But
if you're not a fan of peak, I understand.
But yeah. I mean, I kind of consider streaming like FTL because I have it, but I don't feel like
that game is also peak. Hold up.
Yeah. FTL is pretty peak. I just didn't feel like playing it right now.
What a classic FTL.
Yeah. I know, but yeah, I want to find like a medium length game that could maybe be played across like various streams one of these days. I'll figure it out.
Medium length.
Something where it's like we can maybe spend like 2 or 3 streams like playing it, or something I can do as like a side project as I try to like ramp up into like content creation a bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it have to be a type of game you're interested in, right?
Yeah, and that's the hard thing. Is like I was looking through my library of like what is a game that is like moderate length that I am interested in that would be like fun to stream. Like the closest is probably the Battle Network games, but those are actually pretty long if I don't like speed run my way through them.
I gotta play One Step from Eden.
I do have that.
That game's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Duo Rabbit and Steel or something.
Well, if we could ever get Atlas to get a new freaking computer.
God. Is that possible? Maybe.
His MacBook will die eventually.
He hates gaming. He's not a gamer. That's
I know.
The problem.
He hates us.
He does. That's factual.
Yeah. Also, the other unfortunate side effect of my car getting flooded is I don't get to go to locals this week.
Cringe. What games have you been playing?
What
games have you been playing?
I mean, I've been playing like FPSs with friends, but personally, I haven't really been playing a whole lot recently.
Gotcha.
Like gacha games, like doing Girls Frontline 2 and playing Heaven Burns Red is nice, but those are also not like games.
Yeah.
I guess like Heaven Burns Red is kind of close because it's more visual novel than game. The game parts of it honestly feel a bit tedious, but Did
you roll for a macchiato?
Yes.
Nice. I don't know if I've not rolled for her yet. I'm deciding if I want to or not. I did get Suomi, which is nice.
Yeah. I mean, if you have Suomi, like macchiato is nice because she like goes into an ice team.
Yeah, that's true. But I kind of am using what's her name? Chingju.
Yeah.
So like, I guess she goes well with that too.
Yeah.
But right now I'm just using what is it, Moist Nugget or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
And she's just going to be a better one of. She's like just a slight improvement on that, I think. So it's kind of like, do I or do I not?
Yeah, up to you if you like the character or if it makes sense for your team.
Yeah. I always hate that kind of like. It's like so marginal, but like probably worth it. But I'm not I'm not too worried about at the current moment, just because like I have a lot of time. How many we have? 12 days. I have 10 days. Yeah, I'll be right.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, that's probably going to be it for the stream. It's a short one today because we don't have Atlas, and I didn't think of a backup plan.
Real.
And also, I have to go deal with car stuff, so I want to maximize my free time today.
God, I'm sorry about that, man.
Yeah, I know. That one was just like, ugh.
Very unluck.
All right. Well, that'll be it for this stream. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
You can find us at Nexus at Night on Blue Sky, and the Twitter account is still active for the moment.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Wiggums2Gs2Gs. Also Blue Sky. I'm not sure how much longer I'm gonna be on Twitter. That place annoys me greatly, and it's basically an unusable website at this point anyway. So
yeah, Twitter is unusable, but also I do enjoy it in hell.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah, you can find me at Plasma Eclipse on Twitter, at Beerus Rudicus on Blue Sky. I haven't posted on Blue Sky yet. I will start doing it eventually. I need to start posting the arts I have made again. But yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.